Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, has issued a statement in response to the news that Prince William has been appointed to the role of Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps. The statement was issued so that Prince Harry could respond to the news. The announcement prompted the preparation of the statement that was prepared. Following the dissemination of the news, the statement was formulated as a response to the news. The message was not only given in an aggressive tone, but it also expressed his extreme uncertainty regarding the decision that was made by the royal family of the United Kingdom. The decision to bestow this new title upon Prince William was made public by Buckingham Palace, which also made the news in an official manner. The decision was made public. As a consequence of this decision, a substantial number of ripple effects have occurred, most notably among members of the royal family. The considerable degree of magnitude that these repercussions have attained has been reached. Specifically, the notices in question were distributed by Buckingham Palace, which is the entity that is responsible for disseminating them. Prince Harry is not only upset by the choice, but he is also extremely saddened by everything that has taken place, as stated by Richard Fitzwilliams, a well-known authority on royal things. Fitzwilliams is a famous authority on royal matters. According to Mr. Fitzwilliams, Prince Harry is showing a significant amount of emotional distress as a result of all that has occurred. After engaging in a conversation with his colleagues about the circumstances that were brought to his attention, Fitzwilliams came at this judgment. King Charles's announcement that Prince Harry is being stripped of his role as Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps is a real kick in the teeth for a son who has always felt marginalized and overshadowed, Richard said in a recent interview discussing the emotional and familial dynamics that are behind the news. Richard was specifically referring to the fact that Prince Harry has always felt that he has been marginalized and overshadowed. When Richard made this statement, he was clearly referring to the fact that Prince Harry has always had the impression that he has been overlooked and overlooked. It is very evident that Richard was making a reference to the fact that Prince Harry has always had the perception that he has been forgotten and overlooked when he made this statement. When Richard made this statement, it was very clear that he was referring to the fact that Prince Harry has always had the impression that he has been neglected and overlooked. This is something that is extremely obvious. Richard was making a reference to the fact that Prince Harry has always been under the assumption that he is being neglected and rejected by the people. This was the subject of his statement. As a result of this most recent revelation, which appears to be a devastating blow for Harry, a view that has been dormant for a considerable amount of time, that Harry is being driven to the perimeter inside the institution of the royal family, has been revived. This belief has been latent for a substantial amount of time to begin with. Over the course of this time span, these perspectives have been around for a considerable amount of time. It was brought to Fitzwilliam's attention that the fact that the post was attributed to Prince William, Prince Harry's brother, who Prince Harry considers to be the source of many of his personal and public problems, only helps to further aggravate the emotional wound that has been inflicted. Fitzwilliams was aware of this fact. This information was not hidden from Fitzwilliams. There was no attempt made to conceal this knowledge from Fitzwilliams. Richard made the following observation in response to the question. It's not just a title. It's symbolic of Harry's military service, which was something he deeply treasured. This symbolic transfer of authority, which represents much more than a ceremonial job or function, gives Harry the sensation that a significant portion of his identity is being erased. This is because the transfer of authority signifies a great deal more than a basic set of duties or responsibilities. This is the reason why this is the problem. In the past, he has had this experience on a very intimate level. It is something that he has experienced. A number of people are of the opinion that Harry may have been overcome with emotion when he received the news, and it is impossible to overestimate the emotional toll that this decision has had on him. There are some people who believe that Harry may have been overcome with emotion. There is yet another group of people who are of the opinion that Harry may have been experiencing feelings of being totally overpowered by his emotions. Even though the most senior members of the royal family were well aware of the consequences that this decision would have for Prince Harry, they have persisted in making it against their better judgment. This is despite the fact that they were aware of the consequences. In light of the current royal divide, which has been going on for a considerable amount of time, the fact that this is happening is an indication that the gloves are off in the context of the situation. On the question of whether or not this information is accurate, there have been a number of speculations and theories that have been circulating in the community. Richard continued to emphasize the following point during the course of the conversation. Harry needs to come to terms with the fact that betraying the family carries consequences. and he did so on multiple occasions after he made this statement. You can't escape the duties you hated as a working royal, but you also forfeit the roles that you treasured. People who are members of the royal family have stated that Prince Harry considered the position of Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps to be one of the few vocations in which he had true pleasure in carrying out his duties. This is something that has been suggested by individuals who are a part of the royal family. Given that he served in this position, Prince Harry experienced a great degree of personal satisfaction as a result of his service. In spite of the fact that Prince Harry was only entrusted with a very small number of responsibilities, this was one of the things that he was accountable for. The praise that Harry received for his accomplishments as a man when he was serving in the military was not limited to his status as a prince. Rather, he was praised for his accomplishments while serving in the military. Harry earned this esteem as a result of his efforts while serving in the uniform. He received this distinction as a token of appreciation for his service in the military, which earned him this classification. This honor was bestowed upon him as a mark of appreciation. It was during this time period that he had one of the few instances in his life in which he felt a sense of success that was unrelated to his position as a member of the royal family. This was a moment that he never experienced before. Not many times in his life has he had such a sense of fulfillment as he did at this moment. This was one of the few opportunities that he had during his entire life, and he took advantage of it right now. The loss of this title has been described by one person as adding salt to the wound, and this is an accurate portrayal of the situation by that person. Within the context of his brother in particular, this is the circumstance that manifests itself. During this time period, Richard reflected on the fact that it was one of the few instances in his life that he considered to be truly lovely and fulfilling. During this period of time, Harry was afforded the wonderful opportunity to experience a feeling of being acknowledged and respected. The time period in question was one of the few that Richard mentioned in his description of the time period. The fact that Richard made a reference to this particular time period in relation to Harry's life was one of the few instances in which he did so. It was quite intriguing to me to learn about this. Richard gave the following speech on May 13, 2024, during the ceremony that took place at the Army Aviation Centre in Middle Wallop to formally transfer the title to Prince William. Prince Harry's last few connections to his old life are being cut, leaving him adrift, permanently. The ceremony was held to officially transfer the title to Prince William. A statement like this was made at some point throughout the course of the event. This was presented to him throughout the course of the ceremony that took place in order to ensure that the title was officially transferred to Prince William. This statement, which was made before to the event, throws light on the sense of alienation that Harry is experiencing as a result of the increasing number of ties that are severed to his royal history. This is because the statement was made before the event. This remark was sanctioned by the government before the event took place. On the other hand, it would appear that Harry is coming to terms with the fact that his position within the royal family is gradually declining. This is something that he is not hesitatingly acknowledging. The other side of the coin is offered here for your consideration. On May 9, 2024, only a few days before his brother's official elevation, Harry was seen wearing his KCVO neck order and star, which was a gift from his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. The gift was given to Harry by his late grandmother from the time she passed away. Just a few days separated the official promotion of his brother to a higher position from the time it was announced. In spite of the fact that she had left before Harry was born, Harry's grandmother was the one who presented him with the gift. This occurrence took place just a few days before to the actual promotion that was being discussed, which was when it was reported that his brother would be receiving a promotion. This specific event took place during the commemoration of the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games, which is a cause that is very close to his heart and that bears a great deal of meaning for him. The Invictus Games are a cause that he feels strongly about. The significance of the Knight Commander of the Royal Victorian Order, KCVO, which is one of the highest honors that can be bestowed upon an individual for their personal devotion to the king, was readily apparent in this particular case. The KCVO is one of the highest honors that can be bestowed upon an individual. The KCVO is frequently considered to be one of the most prestigious awards that can be given upon a person. The Kansas City Volunteer Organization, KCVO, is widely regarded as one of the most renowned organizations that can bestow honors onto individuals. An individual has the opportunity to be presented with the KCVO, which is widely considered to be among the most distinguished distinctions that can be conferred upon them. In response to the symbolic gesture that Harry made, Tom Quinn, a royal biographer, made the following statement. Wearing this medal was Harry's way of reminding his family and the public that his contributions mattered by demonstrating that his grandmother valued him through the act of wearing this medal. Quinn made the observation that Harry's decision to wear the KCVO was a statement that should not be taken lightly, but was nonetheless strong. As far as she was concerned, this was a message that necessary consideration ought to be given. At the end of the conversation, he stated, "You've taken everything else away from me, but you can't take this." In spite of the fact that Harry has suffered both personal and public losses, he continues to continue his service in the armed forces, which demonstrates his profound dedication to the military. More than a decade has passed since Prince Harry joined the military, and during that time he has served in Afghanistan for 2 separate tours of duty. During this time, he has been stationed in Afghanistan. Not only that, but he has also completed an extra tour of duty in Afghanistan during this time period. Additionally, at some point in his life, he had been a member of the United States Air Force and served in that capacity. The fact that he resigned from his official duties in the year 2015 does not change the fact that he has continued to maintain contact with a significant number of military units, as is the situation with other senior royals. This remains the case in spite of the fact that he has moved on from the official obligations that he was previously responsible for. The information that is provided on the official website of the British monarchy indicates that it is anticipated that the royal family will continue to make frequent trips and serve as a supportive figure for members of the armed forces, both in the United Kingdom and in other countries. This is the case regardless of whether the military forces are located in the United Kingdom or in other countries. This is crucial because it serves to bring attention to the strong relationships that the organization maintains with the armed forces. These relationships are maintained by the organization. In light of this is the reason why it is important. The significance of Harry's service in the military is brought into closer perspective when this backdrop is taken into consideration. Additionally, the reason why the loss of that occupation has caused him to be in such a bad position is also brought into focus. In addition to this, the reason that Harry served in the military is also placed into additional perspective. Because of the well-documented hostility that exists between Prince Harry and other senior royals, particularly his father, King Charles III, there has been a great lot of conjecture over the timing of Prince William's succession and whether or not it was systematically planned. This is because of the fact that Prince Harry is the son of King Charles III. In addition, there has been a significant amount of debate around the question of whether or not it was orchestrated in advance. The fact that Prince Harry and other senior members of the royal family have a history of mutual animosity is one of the factors that has contributed to the proliferation of this theory. A number of factors have contributed to the occurrence of this controversy, one of which is the fact that Prince Harry is the son of King Charles III. The most recent turn of events has only served to raise the public's interest in the issue. This is a consequence of the fact that the contentious nature of their relationship has been thoroughly chronicled, which has led to the public's interest in the situation increasing. Specifically, this is what Richard Fitzwilliams has to say about the situation. This is one of the most publicized family disputes in recent history. This is what he has to say about the situation. Following that, he reacted with the following statement. If this had been handled privately, away from the gaze of the media, there might have been a chance for reconciliation. However, as things stand, things are only escalating. During his visit to the United Kingdom in May of 2024, Prince Harry wanted to meet with his father, King Charles, but he was unable to do so. As a result of his efforts, Prince Harry was ultimately successful in relocating to the United Kingdom. This rift, which was so glaringly obvious that it cannot be denied, was brought to light by the fact that Prince Harry had decided to return to the United Kingdom. Due to the fact that this separation was so patently visible, it was brought to light. An outcry from the general public was started as a consequence of this absence, with many people pointing the finger of blame at the king for not prioritizing the requirements of his son. This absence caused a lot of people to feel angry. There were a number of people who felt outraged as a result of this absence. As a consequence of this absence, a considerable degree of resentment was expressed by the general populace. In response to speculation on whether the Duke of Sussex would meet with his father while in the United Kingdom, it unfortunately will not be possible due to His Majesty's full program. The statement commented in reaction to the reports that the meeting would not be possible. The statement was made in response to the fact that the meeting would not be possible. This statement was made in response to the reports that the meeting would not be able to take place. In addition, the statement acknowledged the possibility that the meeting would not take place as scheduled according to the original agenda. A representative of the department in which Prince Harry works made the correspondence available to the general public during the course of the conversation. It would appear, on the other hand, that the explanation did not serve the purpose of calming down the individuals who were present with them. For the purpose of expressing their dissatisfaction with the decision that King Charles made to restrict the amount of connection that he had with Prince Harry, a significant number of individuals resorted to a variety of social media platforms in order to voice their opinions. Regardless of whether or not the father is king, there is a feeling that is shared by the great majority of people all over the world, and that is that it is unacceptable for a parent to not spend time for his son. This is the understanding that is held by the vast majority of people. More than one user expressed this sentiment in their own words. Harry received unwavering support from a number of more individuals who demonstrated their unwavering confidence in him. They believed that Charles's actions were an expression of his desire to maintain control over other individuals, even if it meant sacrificing his personal connections in order to acquire this particular power. Another individual made the following comment: "Harry deserves better. King Charles should be ashamed." They believed that Charles's actions were an expression of his desire to maintain control over other individuals. A number of different persons held this concept, and it was held by a number of different people. It was in a different social media post that the charge was made that the king prioritized his royal responsibilities over his relationships with his family. The public drama that was taking place at the time was in stark contrast to the fact that King Charles had a busy week, attending audiences and holding a garden party at Buckingham Palace. Queen Elizabeth II was also attending the celebration. There was a stark contrast between the fact that the drama was taking place and the reality that it was taking place. He was also tasked with the obligation of preparing events that were held at Buckingham Palace, which was an additional burden. In spite of the fact that he had only recently been diagnosed with cancer and was in the process of receiving treatment for the illness at the time, the king resumed his royal duties on May 7, 2024. This occurred despite the fact that he had only recently been diagnosed with the disease. One of these commitments that needed to be fulfilled was a meeting with Sitiveni Rabuka, the Prime Minister of Fiji, which was an official gathering. This meeting was mandatory. During the time that everything was going on, Prince William was also incredibly busy since he was taking part in the anniversary festivities of the Invictus Games. This is a project that Prince Harry is especially enthusiastic about. There is no way that Prince Harry could have been more ecstatic about accepting this opportunity. During the same time period, each of these occurrences took place simultaneously. Prince Harry's relationship with his brother, Prince William, who is also known as Prince Harry, is a reflection of the tension that Prince Harry has with his maternal grandfather. Prince William is also known as Prince Harry. It is also possible to refer to Prince William as Prince Harry. In the course of his forthright and candid interview on Good Morning America, Harry brought to light the increasing distance that has arisen between the two of them. The gap that exists between them has been widening over time. He was successful in accomplishing this by bringing attention to the fact that they are no longer together despite their previous relationship. Furthermore, he provided evidence that supported the assertions made by their mother, who had passed away. Given that they had severed their communication with one another, Princess Diana would be quite concerned about the issue. This is because they had severed their relationship. According to what he said, anything like this would have a significant impact on her emotional state. Harry brought up the fact that despite the fact that his connection with his mother is strained, he is experiencing the presence of his mother more vividly than he ever has at any other time in his life whatsoever. This is something that Harry has never experienced before. In all of his years, Harry had never previously encountered something like this. In all of his previous encounters, he has never come across anything like this before. In Harry's opinion, "I believe she would want us to heal and look at things from a long-term perspective," he observed. "I believe she would want us to heal ourselves, and I believe that she would want us to do both." Despite the fact that the royal brothers and their father are doing a wonderful job of controlling their relationships, which are becoming more and more distant from one another, this never-ending family drama continues to capture the attention of people from all over the world. It would suggest that the general public continues to have a significant amount of interest in the outcome of the matter, despite the fact that it is still not entirely clear whether or not reconciliation is even feasible. In spite of the fact that it is still not entirely clear whether or not reconciliation is even a possibility, this is the case.